Guys, we are live, Moo TV. It's another special we do once a month. I'm with my amazing. Are you the co-host, Andrea? Are we both co-host?
I really got introduced as his amazing business partner then. Boom.
I don't even need to say that, though. That comes as standard. But there you go. We're both co-hosts. But we are obviously joined by not just one guest, but two guests this month, which I think is the first time we've done that. And obviously, I might have been branded up this week. You're usually, I've got this, so I'm branded up. But one of our guys on the screen is definitely branded up, James from Reef. And we've got Beckie as well. Guys, great to have you on. I'm going to enjoy the chat, and so will Andrea. People will learn a lot about what Reef is. We'll go into a bit of business, and because we've got people who are interested in what Reef does, and also people who are interested in just business in general and learning from each other. And that's basically what these Moo TV special episodes are all about. But let's get straight into it. Whoever wants to go first, but what is Reef? What's the Reef app? What's it for?
So it's
barking there, Andrea.
Not me.
That's all right then. As long as it's not either of us, guests can have barking dogs, no problem. Fire away, James. Go on.
I started Reef, kind of the idea back in probably 2019 now. I was kind of working remotely, visiting clients across the UK, but kind of wasn't sure where and when I could pull my laptop out in different venues without kind of getting either kicked out for kind of being a laptop there or feeling kind of coffee guilt where I had to buy a coffee every 5 minutes to warrant my stay. So kind of went on the lines of, sure, there's an easier way to find spaces that aren't going to be loud all the time. I can easily get a plug socket, and I know that they've got the right amenities and also a laptop friendly, but there was nothing really out there. So I spoke to a few of my friends who also remote worked. They had the same issue. So I decided to create this app, and we started probably in January 2020. Which, again, you probably imagine was a great time to get involved with hospitality. And then kind of a month after that, a couple of months after that, obviously lockdown happened. A lot of these businesses then went to remote first because they couldn't go to the offices, which for the first 3 months we found was great. It was a novelty, productivity skyrocketed. And then all of a sudden it kind of started fizzling out, decreasing in some cases where kind of first people's reactions were like it was because people aren't in the office, which they were sort of correct on that front. But the two main reasons, well, the main reason was I hadn't been onboarded properly to remote work because it happened so quickly overnight that people were struggling how to separate their personal and work lives from working from one space, but also have gone from a social setting to them and four walls. We had even people on YouTube searching for background noise in a cafe, just to kind of keep their sanity during lockdown, working from the home. So, so we're like, well, let's pivot slightly and become a platform that helps not only individuals but also businesses kind of move into that remote hybrid working culture by offering what we're calling a third workspace to go and work from. So if they can't make it to the office, they can't work from home on a certain day, there's still somewhere for them to go to. So it kind of stops them from burning out, but also stops them feeling like so isolated and lonely as well. And also kind of looking at it now, the cost of living and all the prices, especially the gas and electric going up, it's coming not really affordable to work from home all the time. Kind of heating the house, charging your laptop, and even boiling the kettle. So yeah, we've pivoted slightly over the few years. We've started the idea, but yeah, kind of at the final point now.
That's amazing. And Beckie, what's your role in Reef? What do you do on a daily basis?
So I head up the commercial side of things, so like the memberships, promote what we do on social media, that kind of thing. I think I was actually working from home myself. I'd posted something on LinkedIn about how I was really bored and burnt out and I hated it. And that's when you messaged me, didn't you, James, and told me all about kind of Reef. And I was sort of the perfect customer and the perfect person that obviously needed to use it. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer getting involved with Reef because I understood it myself and I was facing those problems. So to be able to then sort of convey that message to other people that I knew were in the same situation, it was just a no-brainer for me, really.
So one LinkedIn post has got you into Reef. Is that what you're telling us? That's pretty.
I mean, we've known each other for quite a long time, haven't we? We used to work together probably about, I don't even know how many years ago, but yeah, it was just a bit of a conversation on LinkedIn about the fact that I was burnt out working from home, and then yeah, it's just gone from there, really.
So being the commercial side of what's going on at Reef, tell everybody what a membership consists of and how much it would cost.
So it's either $4.99 a month or $49.99 for the full year. With that, you get unlimited bookings into spaces that we work with. So there's no sort of cap on that. You also get discounts on things like food and drinks. A lot of them do like free hot drinks now as well. You get guaranteed space with plug sockets. So I know that that's a big bugbearer for people when they're sort of going out. They don't know, if there's even plug sockets available. So yeah, you get a guaranteed spot. You get all the Wi-Fi details in advance. So again, it's another sort of nice one to have where you're not having to sort of get up and try and find where the Wi-Fi details are or bother staff. It's a case of literally just going in, sitting down, claiming your food and drink deals, and you can just crack on with work. And there's no kind of what we call coffee guilt. It's a little term that we kind of came up with, didn't we, James? Which is like you go in, you sit down in, a coffee house or whatever it is, and you kind of constantly feel the need to buy more coffee or buy more food or more drink, and by within a couple of hours you've spent 20 quid already because you feel guilty for taking up a space. With the membership, we've kind of removed that whole guilty feeling, because they know that you're there to work and you've made a booking. So yeah, that's in essence what you get.
Amazing. Mark, you're on.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Come up with a big notification saying me mic. I have this professional mic, because we do things properly. Hopefully it's working all right, so you can hear me. I was
fine.
Good. So why Reef? What's the name? And I noticed it's reef.rocks, so something to do with reefs in the sea. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it was all to do with we obviously at the start it was had a massive brainstorming session about different names that come up with, and Reef came basically from Barrow Reefs and everything like that. Is a diverse community, kind of helping everyone out to thrive, and that's kind of what we're doing as a platform and a community as well. Is loads of people with loads of different use cases and backgrounds using us to become more productive and look after their kind of mental health and well-being to thrive, essentially.
Love that. That's a nice idea. Funny enough, I was only listening to something a day where it was like a wildlife program, and it mentioned stuff like that, like the bigger like fish and animals in the sea, or not animals, but you know what I mean, sea life. They need bigger plants so that the smaller sort of fish and creatures can get access to the bits below it that they can't get to if they don't eat it, and then that encourages more plants to grow. And it's like it can only exist if everything's there, and that's like almost like Reef. Everyone's getting involved. It's diverse, and the venue needs to be involved. The people need to be involved. From a networking perspective, though, I'm thinking like I need to use Reef when I get into Liverpool city centre or places on Wirral. Would I know that somebody else in that venue is there with Reef? Like, is there a hotel? Do you know, or is it just like? Can you?
Not at the moment, but it is in our one of our next phases. Is there's a platform out there I don't know if you use called Gym Pass, where you can see where your friends are kind of booked in on for different kind of gym classes. We're kind of going to be doing something similar to that, where you can kind of turn on the option on your phone, so you can actually see where your friends are booked in on and your colleagues, so you can go and join them as well. So for example, somebody who works, one of the employees is more of an introvert, doesn't want to kind of ask where people are going, they can then just see and go and join them as well. So kind of a bit more inclusivity on that piece as well.
Spot on. And you were speaking before, because it's such an important thing. We talk about well-being, and you don't want to sit in your house all day. It's nice to get out and about and just not like the boredom of being at home sometimes, and maybe the space you've got at home isn't ideal. You know, whether you, I mean, I've got our little Mark, and my wife sort of, she works from home and he's making noise all over the place. But the fact that, you know, you can be out your house or out your wherever you live and not be spending the money on boiling the kettle and charging stuff and having your heating on. What's been the feedback with that so far, with the fact that energy bills are going higher? And are people purposely going up because of that? Is that like a good, you know, for the sake of, you know, $4.99 a month or paying the yearly membership? They're saving a lot of money on that. That's a big thing right now. People need to watch the money.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of the people that we speak to, I think we kind of mentioned it before we went live, was the fact that people are watching their smart meters. You know, people are boiling the kettle and seeing that their smart meters are going up, and they're sort of panicking and, you know, not putting heating on and, you know, not wanting to charge things like their laptops and stuff at home. And I think there was a stat out there that said that if you work somewhere else that's away from home 3 days a week, you'll save about £130 a month on your energy bills, which is massive. On top of obviously all the savings that you'll make with the Reef membership. You know, you're not paying for coffees and things like that. You can get them free with the membership as well. I think it's just an all-round sort of financial well-being and savings app too. So yeah, we're definitely in people
a win-win for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So James, question for you really, is this the first time you've been a business owner and an entrepreneur?
I've been kind of director level in a couple of marketing agencies beforehand, but
you've got to watch cash flow. You've got to have all
those
things that
juggling a lot of different roles. It's been fun. Learned a lot.
Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be very, very up and down. Made mistakes, but learned from them, I think, which helped quite quickly. What I have learned is if you have made a mistake, try and rectify it as quickly as possible. I've also brought on a non-exec director as well that's kind of obviously made a lot of mistakes as well, growing a business before, to kind of guide me that little bit more, so I don't have to make them myself. Which again saves a lot in the long run as well. So, but yeah, like I said, it's I've always dreamt of having kind of a tech company, and yeah, you wish it's easier, but that's just business, isn't it? So, and it's not kind of that kind of looking back on certain things. It won't be as fun if it was an up and down.
Yeah. As a business owner, what's the biggest challenge you've faced so far? The biggest mistake you've made, or the thing where you said, "Can't believe that's happened," and then did you get over it? I assume you did, but you know, because a lot of people every day have got, especially in our community and Move, you know, it's about business health and development. We see people with challenges and making mistakes, and a lot of people can be put off by that and say, "Well, no point being in business now," or maybe I should just go back to getting a job. And most of the time, as long as you keep going, you get over the hurdle, you're okay, and you've actually learned from the mistake. So have you got anything where you think people can learn from, you know, something that has gone on in Reef as you developed it?
Yeah, I've hired probably too early before, and either not had something ready or didn't have the setup in place. So that was probably the big one, because again, it was an expensive mistake. But like I said, is as long as you kind of realize sooner rather than later, it helps with the mistake, if that makes sense. So it could be a lot bigger than it is. So I think it's just admitting when you've made a mistake is a big one, because as soon as you do that, you can start rectifying everything as well.
Love it. And you guys are expanding, aren't you? You're not just in the UK now. You're across the world. Not in America yet, though. We'll speak about that in a sec. But which countries are you in? And is there any strategy about a scattergun approach, like getting as many countries as we can, or is it strategic?
Yeah, so we've got quite a big waiting list, I think, Becky, haven't we? In kind of across the world. So it's finding the right people to we take our time and finding the right person to launch out in these countries. But so we just launched in the likes of Canada and the Philippines over there, just because we've got a waiting list for those places, and also we've got contacts over there to to run it. We're about to potentially launch in the likes of India, South Africa, New Zealand, as well as on our list within the kind of next couple of months. But also we're kind of ourselves are pushing out venues. We just launched in Amsterdam, a hotel there, but we've got others in and across Europe really as well.
Yeah, I was going to say we've just had loads of people say we want to work remotely. We don't just want to, you know, limit ourselves to a city or our town. We want to be able to travel sort of all over the world as well. So we've just had people, again, through social media going, yeah, we want to work from America, we want to work from Australia, we want to work from New Zealand. But again, we just don't know where to go. So it's just a case of, yeah, we've literally just got a list, haven't we, of places where people want to work from, and then, like James said, it's just kind of finding the right people to head up those spaces, really.
So how are you going to decide, or what is your expansion plan? Because obviously it's a huge world out there, and you can be knocking on our door and getting us quite excited, but at some point we've got to stay in our lane to make sure we don't grow too quickly. So first question is, how do you choose? And second question is, without giving any trade secrets away, how do you build the software in the background to deal with all different currencies and all different legislation and rules around the world?
Yeah, so the development bit is the fun bit at the moment with the dev team. When I kind of told them about the bit, I wasn't at the top of their Christmas card list, so to speak. But there's a lot of it's based on kind of IP and location. So it depends on what their IP is bringing through. Depends on what content they see on the website and where they get sent on the website as well. On that side, and finding places, really, it's kind of coming across the right people to open them. So if kind of some people approach us, I know John, who's running our Canada one, he approached us, loving the platform, wanted to be involved, and then Alvin in the Philippines, he's through one of our non-exec directors, knows him from previous roles, so he could kind of introed us there as well. So it's a mixture, really.
Franchise model then, or is it?
It is, yes, yeah. The main reason being is I have no idea about kind of the lay of the land in different countries, and people who live there obviously know a lot more than me. They're on the ground. From our side, it's more cost effective with that too. So yeah, and what our kind of whole ethos is basically, work from anywhere should mean work from anywhere. A lot of people still think work from anywhere means they can work from home. As long as there's a kind of Wi-Fi and a plug socket, the world's their oyster, really. And you work better when the sun's shining. So we're trying to help that kind of and create the place where people can kind of easily travel, and when they do travel, know exactly where they can and can't work from in the different countries as well.
Yeah, regarding the app, from a business sort of perspective, what is there advice you give anybody else? Because there's a lot of, we don't get lots of people coming through Move that are like wanting to start a tech or an app company, but there will be a lot of people that might watch this and the future, this will be saved. Obviously, it'll be on a replay. But for people who are thinking, like yourself, I want a tech company, I want some sort of app, or they're looking down a technological route, what are the pitfalls? What are the things you should definitely do, and what are the things you should stay away from when it comes to building an app? That's something we, as a community of Move, will one day have an app to build like a community of businesses. So what should we be looking out for?
Don't go cheap. I've heard, kind of being in the tech community, some quite terrible stories where they've kind of gone for the cheaper option of development and got back something that they didn't want. So they had to then pay again for better quality from and always kind of vet the development agency as well before you use them. Obviously they'll have done stuff before, so go reach out to those to those clients they've had already, get a list from them as well, and if they're good enough, they'll give you that list and be happy for you to reach out to them as well. So yeah, research that, because it can be quite like that can be an expensive mistake. I was lucky because I was friends with someone that had a development agency and worked with them previously. So but yeah, stories I've kind of heard is definitely vet your your development agency on that basis.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's the saying? You bite cheap, bite twice. That's the saying, and we see that all the time with all sorts.
Becky, if we go back to the commercial side of it, I'm a coffee shop owner, and we use Reef, and we have done, we think, for over a year. I'm not sure exactly the length of time. Talk to us about what feedback you get from the coffee shop owner or the restaurant or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, hospitality is not in a great shape. So anybody that's going to bring footfall into the building is a friend we want. So it's bigger than somebody just coming to use the laptop and getting a free coffee. What's the knock-on effects of somebody signing up to Reef?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think for what we do, people just think it benefits remote workers, but it's actually benefiting hospitality too. I think they're just two groups of people that didn't know that they needed each other, and they do, which is great. You know, hospitality is offering exclusive discounts to Reef members, which is great because it means that it's easier for us to sort of push footfall through their door. And they're saying, you know, that they're getting really great feedback in terms of people are coming back, repeat custom, people that didn't know that they even existed before because they found them on Reef and, you know, didn't know that, you know, they would never think to go there in the first place. You know, even going back at like weekends with the family friends. So even if they're claiming a free hot drink in the weekend, not necessarily spending money then, they're going back because they've had such a great experience to dine at the weekend with other people as well and spending money that they wouldn't have done before. So it's really great for hospitality that way too.
Love that. So what's the like the ratio of you trying to find new venues to get on board to take advantage of what you've just said? Because it's obviously great for your users, but it's great for the hospitality venue. And what's the other hospitality venues coming to you and there's a queue? Or right, what are you looking for more hospitality venues to come and contact you to say this sounds great? How do we get involved?
Yeah, it's a bit of both really. We have kind of venues finding us through kind of again socials and word of mouth. We kind of say to our users as well to send us venues that they know that need help with more footfall during the day. So they send us, they point them in our direction as well. But then we're always kind of active out there. I know Becky always is having conversations where there's people in certain more suburban places now where they would just don't want to commute to a town or a city, but just want to go just down the road, get to 10-minute kind of commute out the house and work from somewhere that's nice and quiet. So kind of they're the venues we're looking at kind of more so at the moment as well, and hotels we've put a bit of a push on those too, both kind of independent and chain, just because of the long hours they're open for. We've got people who want to use us kind of during kind of normal working hours, whatever they are nowadays, but also people who do kind of your 9 to 5, but also as a side hustle that they don't want to work from home. They want to kind of do late evenings or at weekends where, again, hospitality in some circumstances, especially during midweek, some places can still kind of would appreciate people working there to again increase that footfall where kind of your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays kind of in the sticks are dead in the evenings.
Makes sense.
So I'm just going to change the conversation up a bit here. James, what is an ideal day working for you and where do you work?
All over, if I'm honest. I think the M1's my new home.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. So, but yeah, I like to get out and about. I don't like to be kind of enclosed in the same four walls, which again was probably another reason why I created Reef. So yeah, we try catching up. Obviously, I'm Sheffield based. Becky's over kind of Cheshire way, so we travel over there. We meet up in Manchester, kind of halfway and stuff. So it's yeah, I'll be honest with you, all over. And especially if they do good food, that does me as well.
I'm going to ask the same question to Becky, and then I'm going to add on to the back of this. You know, which would be your? Is it being able to grab a breakfast somewhere or having a late lunch? What when you get back in your car at the end of the day and you've been remote working, you've been using Reef, you've been in a great independent. Yeah, what's your favourite place?
To be fair, we've brought on a couple of local ones to me recently. So like I say, because we've been sort of focusing more on the suburbs. So it's been quite nice to be able to just walk to a venue, get the steps in as well, which is always good. But yeah, like James said, we just try and get out and about in our venues as well and go and support them. And yeah, it's just nice to go out for the day, do your work, come home, separate those two things. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that we're working on with sort of more corporate businesses now as well, is the fact that a lot of, people are getting up, rolling out of bed, going straight to their desk, doing work. Their office is 3 feet away from, where they eat, sleep. So it's just sort of creating that divide and that balance really of working life.
Tell us about a corporate membership. That would be really interesting to people to hear about. So what does that look like? And is it starting with after 10 employees, or can be 2 employees? What's that look like?
Yeah, just from 2 onwards. So if you've got even just 1 employee, you get all the same benefits. We also, if you sign up as a corporate, we also give a whole portal which works in the background too, where you can look at anything from, we sort of work with businesses to look at what they want to see as well from a wellbeing point of view. So if they wanted to see, who's getting out more than others, maybe some people are not getting out, why they're not getting out. So they can kind of tailor wellbeing conversations around those things too. So it's just an extra additional thing that we offer. If a business wants to sign up, a lot of sort of HR managers, wellbeing managers like the fact that they can see stats and what their employees are kind of doing from a wellbeing perspective too, so that they can tailor conversations and have the right conversations too. So that's all on top of obviously the fact that you get the membership and stuff too.
I like that. Thank you.
Question on obviously everything you guys are doing, you're growing, you're growing your membership, you're growing into different countries, and obviously a lot of businesses watching this now, watching the replay, whether you're a startup or you turn over a few million, whatever. Everyone wants to grow, or most people do at least. You don't want to sort of rest on the laurels. They're trying to grow. What have you found the best way to grow? Is it social media? Are you doing, what type of marketing are you doing? And what have you found is effective for both finding venues and also for finding members? What's working well?
So we've got Becky that heads up the license sales, and I've got a guy called Cy that heads up our venue side. But Cy's got a lot of kind of contacts and experience within venues. But again, we also then just use kind of, especially for independents, Instagram and Facebook, doing instant messaging through there, or even kind of walking in. It's a very easy conversation to us to walk into a place during the day where it's very quiet and just ask the person if they want more footfall, and it doesn't cost them anything. So so kind of venues there. And Becky, I don't know, kind of probably seen her on LinkedIn. I'll let Becky kind of go more into detail from that side.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think it's just been a lot of storytelling, a lot of getting people to understand kind of what your story is, the business, how it works, why people are using you. So that's all we've really done. We've just created like a lot of video content around educating people. I think that's really how we've grown, because I think people have not just bought into the membership, but I think people have sort of bought into James's story too, of how he created it. And I think that's really important when you're starting and you're growing, is that people understand sort of why you do it, and sort of telling that story about why I got involved as well. I think that's quite powerful as well, is just being able to be relatable. I think people sort of see that and go, yeah, I see why you're doing it, and I see how it could benefit me too. So I think that's sort of how we've grown more than anything, is just telling our story through socials, to be honest.
And I think internally as well, is all to do with kind of your setup as it is internal. So we're a very lean business. So there's only 3 of us kind of in the UK. We've got someone who runs the marketing, and then a small dev team. And it's all kind of done with probably 4 bits of software that all integrates with each other. And the main one being kind of, we use one called Discord, which is very similar to Slack, but it's free. So it made more sense for us to use that. And just make sure we're kind of transparent and just very open with the comms with everyone. So and that's kind of really helped us, I think, grow, and also then replicate everything else into these different countries as well.
I think we just kept it simple, haven't we? I think that's been the key. I think a lot of people, when they grow, they try and add lots of things and try and overcomplicate things. And I think we've just kept it as copyable as possible, so that, you know, as we grow, it's really easy for other people to like, obviously, to within different countries, to be able to just go, right, okay, that's exactly how this works. And yeah, I think sometimes you kind of overcomplicate it the more you kind of get into it. But yeah, we've just kept it really simple.
My mic's just broke now. I'm gonna pull it out. I don't even think it's Lizzie. I don't think it's been working. Luckily, my Mac's throw that away. Only 200 quid. It's all right. We were talking before about the fact that you're telling stories to gain more customers, gain, you know, exposure to what you're doing, get people to buy into the idea through stories. You, Becky, you do a lot of video like yourself, don't you? You're on, I mean, you're on LinkedIn, but you're on TikTok as well. So am I.
Trying.
You do a good job at, you know, see your content, and Instagram as well. What portion of content do you put out that's video compared to just, you know, on LinkedIn, at least, like written content? What do you find works well? Because right now, especially on LinkedIn, I think, you know, they don't really favor video much, but I seem to find that video just, it just gets to people a bit differently. And when people see me at a network event or out and about, so they sort of recognize me. So you're that Mark Walton guy, the one who's always walking down the road on the videos, or showing us around network events that you're at, and they recognize me. It's like there's a step ahead, and that brings in business. It works well. Is that the same for you? Would you recommend other people start getting into video and start putting videos out there?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can obviously tell a lot more in a video than you can just on text, and I think people kind of relate to it a bit more. Like you say, it's that familiarity. I can't even say that word. Where you can, you know, people see you and they see what you do, and it's almost like they know you already through your video content, which I think you can get across with, you know, your text posts and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, when it comes to video, I think it's just taking it up a notch. But like you say, sometimes I don't favor video content over the others, but I think it's just doing it. And I think sometimes the engagement's a bit less on videos, but it seems to push it gets us more customer. I think that's where people kind of get caught up in, you know, oh, that one didn't get as much engagement, or whereas with your video content, I think people understand it more, and like I say, people might not engage with it as much, but it's results at the end of the day, isn't it? It's results that pay the bills, not engagement.
I get so many people saying, you know, they go, I see all your videos. I know for a fact those people, like, I know they are people I've networked with for years, but they never comment. They never engage. They go, oh, we have a great video, Mark, or, you know, reply and respond to the topic I'm talking about. But they say, I see your videos, and that's big, because that's like, you know, you're getting in front of people, and in your way, it's like the next best thing to being there in person, isn't it? So I think that's something I'd encourage all people, you know, if you're watching now or on the replay, get video content out there, because it works. So, how long have we got left? Got probably about 5 minutes left, so we'll start wrapping up in a bit. But with the Reef app, obviously, you've, from day one to where you are now, there's obviously more features on it, more stuff going on. Is there anything that you can tell us about? And for people who are thinking, I need to sign up with this Reef, is there anything that is coming soon in the next few weeks or months that people can expect? And for the Reef users now, that's going to be exciting to know about.
Yeah, we're about to probably complete our phase 1, I would say, of whole development at the kind of beginning of next month, middle of April. Then kind of on the back of that, what we're really focusing on is that customer experience for both venues and users. So what we already integrate with a booking platform called Designer Night, which means any bookings that go through Reef go straight through into the venue's kind of booking process, making it easier for the venue, but also them knowing exactly what time kind of a user's coming into their venue from Reef. But we're looking at other booking platforms kind of across the board to make it again more seamless for there too. We're about to kind of create a marketing pack as well for venues, kind of take kind of table talk as a reservation and kind of other things to sign up to, and then we're looking to kind of integrate kind of like a chat feature within there. Again, just making it a lot easier for people to communicate and book into spaces when and where they need to on there as well. But also from the kind of the admin users from both sides, a lot more data for them to get out of it. So from a venue side, to see how they can kind of optimize their listing to make it better, but also from a user perspective to kind of really see who's using it the most, why they're using it the most, and kind of pick up any kind of say problems, but kind of anything that's kind of off, and user results to see that again help them look after their employees a lot more as well.
Spot on, Louis. Graham, you in the background? Want Graham to come on? Here he is.
Hello.
You've always
Yes, I'm writing notes.
You've always got to make an entrance on a Moo TV special. Have we had any questions from anyone who's been watching live, or have you got any questions yourself that you think we've not covered? Because I'm conscious there's so much to talk about with this. There's so many. We could pick one thing to do with well-being or saving money or anything, and we could spend half an hour on it easy. So, is there anything important that we don't want to miss that we need to get out there so people know all about Reef?
Well, I think the one thing is something we spoke about just before we went live, which was you have a partner program as well. So if people want to partner with you and use the opportunity to promote themselves on the app, there is an opportunity for that, isn't there?
Yeah, so we list kind of brands that work with kind of that offer kind of products and services to do with remote working, mental health and well-being for free on our platform. Again, just to help those that are working remotely with those kind of free pillars, and we kind of offer discounts off those kind of products and services to our users to be able to kind of again make it nice and affordable for using and working remotely.
I think the fact that you're continuing to grow and will continue to grow also shows all of us that this thing that is called hybrid working or remote working is here to stay as well.
It's definitely not going anywhere. And I just think to be able to sit here knowing that you did a slight pivot in 2020 and you've got a global reach is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, we speak to businesses all the time that are still looking at, how are we going to work this out? What are our options? How do we make this work in the best way? And I think it's just going to continue. And for the next 3-4 years, people are still going to be figuring out what's the best way to do it. So,
yeah. And the big thing for what you do for me as a business owner, and then seeing it from the other side, was simplicity. It's connecting a need of a consumer and a business and keeping that connection simple. And I think so often businesses so often just complicate stuff. They don't get stuff off the ground because they haven't figured it all out. And I'm not putting you on the spot here, James, but I'm sure there've been times where you said yes to something before you know how you're going to do it. Because that's how innovation starts. And then you get it, and to the outside world it looks okay, but you only think it's 50% of where you need it to be. And you just said, you are working very long hours because you're in the background, getting it right all the time. So
yeah, I think the main one on that most recent one probably was this franchising bit, totally forgetting about time zones and having meetings at different times of the day. So and then deciding when's the best time to sleep on the back of it. So that's probably the most recent one I've come across.
I can actually verify that. Mark and I move America, so they moved back an hour or forward an hour. I can't remember which way it was, and we hadn't even contemplated.
We don't even
complicated. Yeah,
we were all.
We have a question from your own John.
Canada.
Yeah, so John's Canada. So he's just launched over there. He's got a couple of venues already on board through the platform. And again, for spaces to sign up is as simple as going to reef.rocks/spaces, fill in the form down the bottom, and on that page you can also book a demo with one of us as well to show how the platform works. And then again, it's as quick as they want to get it onboarded. I've said, Si and I have filled in hundreds of the listing forms now, so it probably takes us about 5 minutes to fill that in for people. And then on the back of it, they can go through, just check everything's all right, and we can push it live. But if they want to kind of take their time, kind of, especially for some of the larger ones, we can have the onboarding with their teams to go through as well. So what we've done as well is base ourselves very flexible within it. I think that's helped us grow as well on the back of it.
I've got a quick question, if I may.
Go on, Graham.
James,
I've got one.
James, I mean, when you come up with an idea like this, there must have been a thing in your head that goes, but someone else must have done it. Before I do it, someone else must have done it. What kind of mindset do you need to have to kind of persist and go, actually, I don't care whether someone else has even thought of this. I'm going to pursue this, and I'm going to find out, and I'm going to carry on and do it.
Just the kind of the problem that I had, and then spoke to other people that had the same problem. I was like, well, there's obviously a market there, and this is a solution that I know would work because it's something I would use. So just coming across a problem that people were having, and how I had a solution for it. I'm like, well, even if someone is doing it, then they're not getting out to everyone, because there's a lot of people that I know that didn't know it existed. And we still have companies come to us today saying they wish they knew about us kind of 5-6 years ago, because it's what they've been needing all along. So yeah, and that's kind of spurred us going as well, really, on the back of it, is that big need that people are finding out. Because the further we go down, and the more people are now realizing it's going to be a remote or a hybrid kind of working culture, it just shows kind of how much that need actually is there.
I'm very glad you did. Very glad.
Thank you.
We look forward to watching your business grow. Very much. We should maybe pencil in and just have a catch up in 6 months and find out how many countries you're in, because it will be a lovely story to follow as you grow globally. And obviously, I've met Becky. Becky's been on Move Online, so thank you for that. And I think it's really all about personalities as well. If you haven't got that right person that's the face of your business, people sort of lose interest very quickly. So I just want to give a bit of a shout out to Becky as well.
No, definitely.
Last question, because I'm conscious we've gone over 40 minutes now, which is usually what we try and keep it to. But with, obviously, you trying to get this to as many people as possible so they can access the different venues within Reef. Obviously, the more venues involved in different areas, especially remote areas, the more accessible it becomes. So obviously, getting the venues on board is obviously a critical thing. Just if a venue's watching now thinking maybe it's complicated, I mean, you've just said that they can sign up easily. What's the minimum criteria that you say that a venue needs to do for them to then be a part of Reef? To be fair,
as long as they've got okay Wi-Fi, they can now even put the speed of their Wi-Fi in the listing. So even if it isn't great, just some people may not want good or need good Wi-Fi for they may not have any kind of video calls on. It's just more browsing. And we've also kind of got again, a table, comfortable chairs, plug sockets, again, is helpful. But we've got kind of partners we partner with that offer kind of portable charging stations for free for venues. And yeah, just something that's kind of aesthetically pleasing as well, that people want to stay there a long time. We don't kind of sign up your kind of 4 a.m. kebab shops or chicken shops, so to say. But yeah, and again, opening times, you've got some that open kind of first thing in the morning. We've got some that open at 3 p.m. that kind of have the kind of evening traffic of people kind of either on the way home from a meeting or had a meeting during the day, or a couple of hours left at the end of the day, that they want to kind of, rather than drive somewhere in rush hour, they want to kind of just get their head down, get the last few things done, and kind of go off from there as well. We've also kind of got a bit of a kind of a social side of it to the venues bit, again, help increase revenue and different features, so they can so people can see when the hours that the venue's open for laptop friendly places, but also open for social hours as well. So if people want to collaborate during the day, then afterwards grab some drinks or some food with their colleagues to again on that side, they can do as well. But also venues can push kind of meeting room spaces, hotel rooms, event space, training rooms, all on our platform as well for free. We don't take any commissions on that side either. So we're just trying to help venues as well try and get more revenue just through more than just F&B revenue. So kind of other different verticals that they can thrive with.
Absolute no-brainer, really, isn't it? So hopefully, if there's any venues watching, or guys, if you're watching again live or on the replay, and you know a venue, you know a hospitality business owner, let them know about Reef, guys. Where can people connect with you guys? Personally, or in the Reef sort of the main company page on any platform. Where's the best place for people to be connecting with you guys?
Yeah, so we're all on LinkedIn. You can find us there. We've got a link tree as well, which is probably we have. I think it's /Reef App Ltd. On Linktree, where you can find us all kind of extra information, sign up forms, but also our LinkedIn pages direct from there. So that's probably one of the best places to go to for different kind of sources of information on us and Reef.
Brilliant. Well, guys, we are towards the end now. We're pretty much. Anything else you want to finish off with, Andrea? You've always got a good wisdom of.
I've done my shout out. It works. It works for the business owner. It works for the consumer. It's fantastic, and I look forward to hearing your global success in the months to come. Well done, you guys.
Yeah,
thank
indeed.
you. Thanks for having us.
Guys, really appreciate your time. And as Andrea says, we'll definitely be checking back in at some point just to see how you guys are progressing, the newest features you add in, and the new stories that we hear about the benefits that Reef gives that maybe we don't even realise yet, like saving some money on your your electricity bill, or just good mental well-being and getting out and meeting new people and stuff. So thank you very much for your time. It's been great to have you on. And
thanks for having us.
If people want to follow with you guys, you'll be tagged in the post anyway on LinkedIn. But you've said where they can contact you now. And we are off now to enjoy the rest of our evenings. And if you're watching now, let us know what you thought. Comment on the stuff, wherever it is, LinkedIn. We're on YouTube now, aren't we, Graham? Are we on YouTube?
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes, we are.
We're on all over. So wherever you are, send some comments. If you've got any questions for any of us, ask away, and we'll be sure to answer. But thank you very much, and we will check in again in a month. So see you later.
Thank you.
See ya.